Om Shri Ganeshaya Namo Namah. Greetings to everyone world over, all our brothers and sisters across the globe. Wherever you are, we hope you're taking care of your health and wellness. We have to get back to those norms once again because coronavirus, muted virus, new, the versions, they are once again showing their faces and once again they are emerging. I personally feel all the advisories which are being given by various countries in their respective zones, let's adhere to them. And just before this program, 7 o'clock, we had one of the most outstanding program on Ayurveda today, how to take your precautions for the future. That was something we had at 7 o'clock. Should you get a time, you can go on ICSI India YouTube channel and you can see it for yourself. Let's move ahead. Sunday is more productive. Other days we organize one program, but Sundays we organize 3 programs for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Prime Minister from the Red Fort on 15th of August 2022, when we were celebrating 75 years India's independence, as a part of those celebrations and jubilations, the Honorable Prime Minister gave the vision, what are we doing for the next 25 years? Where the India would be in 2047. That's why the series which is dedicated over here is NRIs for India's service industry, that is 2047. Today's webinar, today's Zoom session, today's interaction, today's communication is going to be with our most respected Surya Vijay Sastri Kotamarti ji, the CEO of the Kotamarti Group from Canada. He had been very kind to come regularly, giving a time and discussing his vision, his pragmatic approach, and what all he thinks should be done and can be done or could be done. All those factors we are taking into consideration. Communication services is the title. So today is the Christmas also. Merry Christmas to everybody. And today is also Tulsi Divas. जिस घर में तुलसी होती है, उस घर में बीमारियां बहुत कम होती हैं. You got to be taking care of your health. That is something very important for everybody. So ladies and gentlemen, Merry Christmas. Hearty welcome to all of you, to my wonderful brothers and sisters across the globe. May your troubles be just vanishing. May your blessings be more and more, and nothing but happiness, happiness, and happiness that should come through your door. Have a great Christmas week. Have a wonderful 1 week celebrations. Get to the 2023. And today being a Tulsi Divas also from India, ICSI sends its best wishes and greetings and fragrance of Tulsi. Our chamber is working in the direction, the strategy for the services exports. We have been taking different themes, different areas, and we are trying to have segment-wise approach, what all we can do as far as services are. Excuse me. So let's move ahead. And today we take on, I will come to the communication services. Our chamber is working day and night. If you go to the web portal of icsiindia.in now, you'll find lots of changes which we have done before we enter 2023, because our annual convention is also coming up, and the capacity building of teachers and our youth through the inspirational lab, preparing global teachers and inspiring our youth. That's what we are working in the direction. And we wish that in 2023, we entered globally digital way and try and bring the trainers and master trainers and teachers and educators from India in the global service, whatever we can render from India. That would be our efforts, and we would move in that particular direction. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Let's come together. All of us, we should be together. Till date, we have done 1,764 webinars, having started on 25th of March 2020. ICSI India is your YouTube channel, and share as much as you can. North India Pravasi Divas is coming up. Our next annual convention is on the way. 29th annual convention of ICSI. That will be on 13th, 14th, and 15th of January. And we are going to have full day deliberations and celebrations, right, starting at 10:30 in the morning and going up to 9 p.m. every day, because we have to accommodate everybody. And I was just a little while before discussing with Kotamarti ji that I would make a request to him. Canada has to play a very important role for us. We would like to get more and more people from Canada, from the different provinces in the different areas, who can contribute towards North India Pravasi Divas. India's service industry 2047. We'll be talking about global education, futuristic, our skill development programs, digital programs, and how education and skills are shaping up, how the tourism is moving ahead, and what all could be done towards services exports. So 13th, 14th, and 15th, 3 days, mark in your calendar, and we would keep reminding you, and we will be working together. With these words, join me in extending a very warm welcome to get Shri Kotamarti ji all the way from Toronto, from Canada. And I was shivering when he told me little while before the session started that it is minus 16-degree temperature in Toronto. And the way winds are blowing outside and you see the wind speed, it touches somewhere around 26. Oh my God, I think it must be pretty cold. Everybody should take care of themselves the best possible way, and we should communicate with each other whatsoever best we can do. And let's start the communication with Vijay Surya Sastri Kotamarti ji. Hearty welcome. Pleasure.
Good morning. Merry Christmas to everybody, and happy Tulsi Day, happy Christmas Day. And Dr. Sharma ji said in the beginning that it is minus 16 degrees, and with the wind it is 26 degrees. I wish it was with the wind 26, but it is with the wind minus 26. So
minus 26, minus 26.
Yeah, I wish it was with the wind 26, then, it blows up the heat and then we are very happy.
Yes, minus 26, yes.
Yeah, it is minus 26 and it's pretty cold. The winds are blowing very strong, over between 70 to 100 kilometers an hour. So it's very, very, very much. So it's really cold because of that, even though it's minus 16 degrees, it feels like minus 26 degrees.
Kotamarti ji,
that's how.
Kotamarti ji, before we start, the greetings which are coming to you today, Julie Subba from the entire Northeast, Yogesh Kumar Upadhyay ji, Mohit Chaudhary ji, Sakshi Chauhan ji, and all other dignitaries are sending their greetings to you. And they say, please wear the proper clothes so that you don't feel cold.
Thank you very much for all your good wishes and asking me to be taking care. But I am inside the house right now, and normally the room temperatures inside we keep about 21 degrees, so we are absolutely fine, and it is plus 21 degrees inside the house. So it's only the temperature that is outside, and thanks for your concern and your good wishes. I'm in good shape right now, and all without shivering, I'll be able to convey my
communication.
my
communication.
I'll be able to communicate with you very nicely. But thanks for all your concerns and your wishes. Thanks, Julie Tuba, Mr. Chauhan, everyone who has who are so concerned and who have asked me to take care. Thanks a lot. Starting about communication services. Communication, again, every subject is vast, and but the most important things in communication, especially it started from way back when Graham Bell, that also a gentleman from Canada, found the telephone. And today, one of the biggest telephone company in Canada is called Bell Canada. So we started with the telephone, then slowly we progressed and we came to the television, and then we came radio, and then we came to the television, and then slowly we came to internet. And over the period of time, especially in the last 2 decades, I would say last 3 decades, because since 1990, so in the last 3 decades, the world has totally changed from what it was in 1990 to what it is in 2022. I'm fortunate. In fact, I always consider myself and all the generation, our generation, very fortunate, because we have seen all forms of communication. Uh, I remember my young days when, in Hyderabad, when I was there, we were waiting for the telephone, and there was a scheme called Own Your Telephone, which was my dad paid 8,000 rupees, and we had to wait for 3 years for a telephone to come. And till such time, we used to go outside and do from the regular, means public booths, what was called trunk calls. And STD. So, those were the old days. I have seen those days. And then now here we are, when I came to Canada, even 20 years back, 20 plus years back, at that time, calling to India was $1 per minute. And today, with voice over IP and so many other forms of communication, it has become very, very cheap. So, communication has grown tremendously in the past 3 decades. And in fact, the world has become a global village only because of the development in the communication. So communication services is certainly one of the best services and the fastest growing services that I think we have. And we should make the best use of the communication services to grow globally. Whether it is from India or it is from Canada, it's from Philippines, it's from anywhere in the world. The communications is what connects these days. And even in communications, the voice over IP, that is VoIP, that is what they call, and WhatsApp is nothing but it's a VoIP method of calling, whereby many people, in fact, in India, it's one of the most popular telephone services, where people use WhatsApp as long as they have their data and they connect. So these services are very, very important, and these are part of the communication services. I'm just highlighting individually each one of them, so that when I speak, we can connect each one of these services and see how we can connect between various countries, that is between India and Canada, between India and Philippines, India and anywhere in the world, and Canada and the world. Coming to connecting India with Canada and Canada with India, the business process outsourcing, which I had spoken last week, I was talking specifically about accounting services and some other financial services. But communication services is also something which is very much outsourced. There are many companies in Canada which are using their back offices for the communication. I have witnessed, and I know many companies who are giving data services, such as maintaining the hardware and the complete computers of various companies based out of Canada and the US. So I will talk first about the communication through telephone, because call centers are a very popular mode of communication, and that has really grown in India. And communication, whether it is, when I speak from for every country from the world. Of course, I am based out of Canada, so Canada is definitely a big market. But at the same time, even in Africa, There are many countries which would like to take the services, because probably the communication services in India are maybe relatively higher than what they are in those countries. So we should look, when coming from an Indian perspective, because we have that Amrit Kal right now going on, and we want to achieve and we want to be where we are as per the vision of the Prime Minister, as well as the whole team, that we want to reach somewhere. For that, the telecommunication services is one of the services which Indians companies, especially growing companies, can look at, because call centers need not necessarily be only people having 100 or 200 people sitting in one company and giving the services. It can also start with 5 from a small PABX. If they can do that also. So telecommunication can be done. So see how you will be able to do that from India. That is one thing. That's the telephone services. That's a call center. The other one would be, for instance, if you want to do something like, I was into the broadcasting industry here. We have done a radio and television show, radio for 10 years and television for about 5 years, and local channel here, Rogers TV and FM 101.3. And with the communication growing so large, I have something in mind. And, of course, we can always look into the modalities, how it can work. But there are many big and popular radio channels in India called Mirchi or something, 103. I don't really know that, but I heard one of my friends saying, look, I have it on my phone. Would you like me to, why should I send that app to you? I said, no, keep it on your phone. I'll look at it. But then, see, that is how you can create, apps which can be used, and then you can have people subscribing for that from various parts of the world. Canada is one of them, and we have next door a market which is 10 times what it is Canada is, the US. So anything we speak, I'm speaking for Canada, you can scale it up 10 times by using it for the US. So bear in mind that what I'm seeing is also applicable for North America. That's how we define ourselves. We don't call Canada, US, and Mexico. We call ourselves North Americans. And so we have the whole North American market if we think in those terms. So that is another area. I have one more. I'll talk about the media, that is the television and radio. But if there are any questions, Sharmaji, I would like to stop here and see if you would like to say something or any questions.
Thank you very much for the valuable input, what you have given. It's very interesting. It's moving very well. Today, most of the people are just giving their Christmas greetings and Tulsi greetings, and they're talking about your minus 26, and they're talking about the temperature. But there's a question which has come: how can we initially start the process to provide these services in Canada?
See, process starting, there's nothing like a process and starting it. You have to approach various companies that need these services. So, you will have to do some homework and see in which area you are, because I will not be able to specifically give any names. But certainly, depending on which industry you are, you can certainly find out. And if you have any names or there are any specifics you want through ICSI, we are always available. You can contact Sharmaji and we can always assist and in giving some names or finding out some names in
Very nice, very nice. Very interesting, which Kotamarti ji has given. And the people those have asked this particular question, I just wish to share, he has given the broad perspective to you in a way. If there is a call center, if there is a service center, you may be doing the service for the banking sector. You might be having calls being made to recovery. You might be doing for some auto companies, those have to give their installments, monthly installment if they have taken some vehicles. It may be even for the telecom companies itself. If you have got a Airtel phone, Jio phone or Vodafone, and you have to pay your bill and you get the call that your such and such bill is pending, why don't you clear it? So there are various services. That's what Kotamarti ji, I personally feel, has given the broader perspective to you. Now you do the basic homework, what exactly segment you're interested about, and thereafter we would be there to help you whatever best we can do. The group of the student which has joined, we extend a very hearty welcome to all of you. Anand Mukherjee, Claudia, Prachi, and Sakshi, Rosie Chakma, Nancy Sangma, Rishi Mohan, and today, Christmas, okay, Deepa Hazarika, Anjan Kumar Bora, Kim Kipkin, Pankaj Tripathi, and we have got BB Subha Foundation, Dilshan Wafa, Arshdeep. Hearty welcome to all of you. I know you all might be interested to go to Canada. That's why he's so many queries. Yes, please go ahead, Kotamarti ji.
Okay, so when I was talking about the radio and television, the radio especially, it is communicating through the air waves. So if somebody wants to set up something on air from India itself, and see how they would be able to. I will have to check the CRTC rules, whether Canadian Radio and Telecommunication Services, whether there are any restrictions on any other countries trying to come on to the Canadian airwaves. But generally, there are, like, we have the YouTube channel where we have ICSI YouTube channel. We are using the communications through the YouTube. In India, people can have their YouTube channels for various languages. I would suggest if whether it is Assamese, Bhutanese, or any Bengali or even Telugu, Tamil, it doesn't matter. Each one of them in their own respective languages, or even one person can go into various languages and start their own channels, so that people who are here, and these days, what you can see on the computer is also, there is also a possibility to hearing it on your mobile phone. Mobile phones have become so popular, and they literally, you can do everything on the phone. So look into those possibilities. These are not very huge investments, but certainly Sarmaji can guide everyone. ICCI is the channel to help people. It has been doing it for the past 3 decades, and it will be more than happy to assist people who would come forward and like to have these services from ICSI. So contact them and find out how to start something on the YouTube, which will be beneficial. And when I speak, like I said in the beginning of the webinar, I'm just not saying this is only will be applicable only for Canada. You can capture literally the whole world sitting in India if you have that. And that way, your sources of income will be the people who subscribe, depending on how good your program is, right? If you have something where you play music, for instance, just the songs, like the Binaka Geet Mala that we used to have. I remember from 8 to 9, it used to come from Sri Lanka, from Radio Ceylon, where the great Amin Saini ji used to give, and people used to be glued to the radio for that 1 hour. So I remember.
Behno aur bhaiyo, बहनों और भाइयों,
Yeah.
आज की दुनिया का गीत माला में 16 हिट गीत इस सप्ताह के। तो आइए आज
Yeah.
देखते हैं 16वीं पायदान पर कौन सा गाना है।
Yeah. And then he would
Yes,
say, "Aaj ke Sartaj ke geet hai," and then
yes,
Sartaj is the
yes,
top
yes,
song which
yes.
used to be. Why I'm saying that is this was done by Amin Sayani ji 50 years ago,
My
50
God.
plus years ago when I was young.
And
So I
it
heard,
is still so
and it
good.
is
It's still
still,
so, oh
and
my God.
yes, so if it can be done, 50 was it being done 50 years back, after 50 years today, with all the technology that we have, it should not at all be difficult.
Yes.
In fact, Sharma ji, with your ICSI, YouTube ICSI, I think you should look into this possibility and see how ICSI can assist
Okay.
people in doing the communication through radio channels.
Okay.
Give them that thing, and I'm sure all the listeners and the viewers who are seeing this program and who will be seeing the program later will certainly approach you. You are based out of India, and I cannot find a better radio as well as TV channel which can be popular all across the globe, and that is the way to make your channel popular, and at the same time get some revenues for the country, for yourself, through the communication services. So this is what I would say. At this point in time, Sharma ji, if there is any question, I will revert back to you.
It's really very nice. Kim Kipgen is writing to us from Nagaland. To be successfully working in Canada, which language is the most preferred, English or French? Out of these two, where do we get more proficiency, which would give us a weightage? This is from Kim Kipgen.
Oh, thanks, Kim Kipgenji, please, for your good question. I mean, wonderful question. English and French. Canada is a bilingual country, but most of the places you can manage with English. Even in Quebec, where French is the more popular, people do speak English, and you can. There are many people who are still managing with English in that province. So English is definitely the language which you can manage all across the country. But I will say, learning languages is one of the best things that you can do in your life, because language proficiency helps you everywhere. And communication, we are talking about communication services today, and language is a mode of communication, and the more languages you have more modes of communication. That what I would say, your mean of communication will be larger. So thanks for that good question. But yes, English relatively you can manage with.
Wonderful, wonderful. Renu Jha ma'am is joining us. She is the English head of the department from Shri Krishna University, that is at Chhatarpur, 25 kilometers away from Khajuraho temples. And Shri Krishna University is extending you a warm welcome to see Chandela dynasty temples, and at the same time to come to the Crocodile Den Wildlife Sanctuary and Shri Krishna University visit during your next visit to India.
Ja, Madam ji, thank you very much. I'll be in India probably in January, and if I have time permits, I'll certainly connect, and it will be a pleasure to come and visit Sri Krishna University and the temples mentioned. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Let's come to your further remarks, and then we do the closing part. Okay. Please.
Sure. So we have covered the telecommunications, the radio, the television, and other forms of media. These days, digital media, when we say digital, it need not necessarily be vocal. It can be print media also. And that has become very popular, and people can start their own blogs and they can put things which can be become popular depending upon how you attract the that's one form of communication, the print media, where there are very many ethnic newspapers here in Canada. And if the companies in India, the newspapers which are publishing, they have their websites where they are actually they put on the news relating to India. And if those companies can think of putting the same, because they can see the English news, the news in English and in various languages, depending on which country it is. That is one thing that they will be able to become popular in their respective countries by publishing, only converting the Indian news into the foreign languages so that it will be relevant. Or they can take the newspaper of that particular day and convert it into the local language so that it will be possible. That is another area which I think in the print media that is possible. And and one important thing that I would think about communication is teaching, education. We have Byju's, which is considered as a very big this thing. And very recently, I have had the opportunity of talking to a gentleman who has migrated, who's in the process of coming over to Canada from India. And he'll be setting up something whereby the education will be digitally given for people across the world, of course in Canada as well as so that is one more area for people who are in India. If they want to do online education, you can. Byju's is a very popular thing in India. I have heard about it, and there are a couple of other companies also which have come up. So similarly in education, because we are talking about communication, this is part of the digital communication that can be done.
Wonderful.
Do we have
Wonderful.
more time?
I think you have given wonderful inputs to us. Rest we can take on next Sunday. But in between, I just wish to tell you that on 30th of December, that happens to be a Friday, we will be having a special program from 7 to 9 p.m. where we are getting 50 potential trainers and master trainers to speak 2 minutes each and introducing themselves and telling how can they impart digital education, digital way abroad in different countries. That's what we plan to do it on coming Friday. Depending on your time, your availability, I would extend a warm invitation to you. We will get somebody from USA also. We request you to come from Canada. And I'm trying to get 1 or 2 more people from UK. And that is the way we would be going ahead. Thank you very much, Kotamarti ji. It was such a wonderful to have you today. Such a wonderful.
I'll be available for you on the 30th, and it'll be my pleasure to be there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Look forward meeting you on Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Till that time, please take care of your health and everybody take proper precautions wherever you are, because Corona is once again knocking as a muted virus world over, and we all have to take care of ourselves the best possible way.
And one last thing, Sharma ji, because we will connecting with all our viewers and listeners in the new year from our side and from ICSI side, I am wishing everyone a happy new year.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We wish all the best to everybody in Canada and look forward meeting you on Friday. Till that time, happy learning, happy living, and happy